Want to hand you a card? There you go. There you go. There you go. Right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So, welcome to Biology 110. My name is Raina. You can call me Raina. That is quite fine with me. If you prefer, you could call me Professor Nielsen, but I'm okay with my first name. Before we really dive into it, everybody get a card. We're missing some. I thought we were missing these here. We will use those cards in just a bit here. All right, well, welcome. Is my connection going to connect? That's the problem. There it goes. All right, so like I said, this is Bio 110, right? My name is Raina. I am a Gussie grad, so I actually graduated from Gustavus back in 2016. So I have been in your shoes. I have been sitting right where you are sitting. Not exactly, because there's been some renovations in this building. But I have gone through this class myself. So it's really fun to be able to come back to campus and then go ahead and teach it. I met my husband on campus here. Did a lot of stuff on campus. Really enjoyed my time. A little bit more about me. I enjoy a variety of things. I enjoy being outside. I enjoy being nerdy. I like fishing and concerts. These are my two cats, Kiki and Klaus. Yeah, so if you have any questions for me, never feel afraid to ask them. I'm pretty much an open book here. This is my 4th year teaching here at Gustavus. And previously, my slides are really lagging today. Previously, I've been a grad student at John Carroll University, so that's in Cleveland, Ohio. I really specialize in plant sciences, so I am a plant nerd. I love plants, especially how plants work and function is really enjoyable for me to read about. I have worked as a researcher, a retail sales employee, a laboratory manager, and I was previously a college instructor at St. Mary's. But I am happy to be back here at Gustavus. Like I said, being a Gussie, you're always a Gussie. All right, any questions that you might have about me? I didn't expect any, but I wanted to ask just to be sure. All right, we'll get to know each other throughout the course of the semester here. But I wanted to start off the class with this caveat of inclusivity. All right, so here at Gustavus, we're a liberal arts college. We strive to be inclusive. So what does it mean to be inclusive in a classroom? Right? It means that we are respectful of all learning levels, backgrounds, and experiences. I know some of you in here have taken many science classes, right? And this might be a little bit of an easier class than others, right? I'm always going to consider who might be felt left out as a result of my actions, right? So I try to be as accommodating as possible. I like to have closed captioning on my slides because I think it just benefits everybody. If I ever forget to do closed captionings, raise your hand, call me out on it. Say, hey, you forgot closed captionings. It will likely happen a couple times this semester. And then I'm just going to be continually reevaluating and implementing more inclusive practices as we go, right? It's a learning experience. We learn as we go. This next slide here, which before I get too much further, I should mention that these slides are available to you on Moodle. So I do post my slides in advance of lecture. They are on Moodle in a Google Drive folder, so you will have access to these. The biology department, we have an inclusivity statement. It's relatively long and lengthy. I'm not going to read the entire thing for you, but I put it up here in case you would like to read through it. Basically, biology is better with all of us here. That's the gist of it, the long and short of it there. So what that means to me is that everybody belongs here, right? Regardless of background, no discrimination is tolerated. Differences are celebrated, especially in the sciences. Coming from different parts of the sciences can really help for a more engaging conversation. I make sure content is accessible to everybody, right? And I really strive for this belonging, trust, and transparency, right? You belong here. I want you to hold me accountable, right? If I say something is due and then all of a sudden I say something is not due, or I change the date all of a sudden, I should never do that on you. But if I do, call me out on it. I want to be held accountable. And then transparency, right? Maybe I'm giving you homework and you're like, oh, this is dumb, this is busy work. Why am I doing this? All right? Ask me, right? I have a reason behind everything that I give you. I try not to do too much busy work because I know this class is a lot of information, and you have other classes on campus. All right. Any questions or concerns? Anything you would like me to see to be more inclusive? What does inclusivity mean to you? It's kind of intimidating first day of class to raise your hand and talk about this. If there is anything you would like to discuss, feel free to talk to me after class or send me an email. All right, and then that last caveat here is nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. So if a mistake happens, how might you respond, right? Always be respectful, never accusatory. Try to see where the other person is coming from. Just simply talk to the individual. If that feels intimidating and you really want this addressed, talk to me and I can help initiate a conversation. I also want you to call me out too. If I make a mistake, I want to know, right? So always feel free to confront me if I say something that is like, oh, is she saying that? Maybe that's an outdated term now. It might be, right? Let me know. All right, let's get into biology. So today we're really going to dive into the syllabus. I know it's a syllabus day. We're not doing content. I never used to do a day for just syllabus content, but I started doing it because I think it really helps, especially to understand some policies, alleviate some confusion. So Bio 110, right, this curriculum is supposed to be a very broad overview of biology. We're not going to dive deep into any one topic, but rather give you like an expansive foundation, everything from a little bit of chemistry, microbiology, to ecology, to processes like cellular respiration, right? All of these things you will dive into deeper in subsequent classes if you continue on in the biology major, right? Many programs require Biology 110, so especially if you're thinking about being a biology major, that's required. biochemistry or molecular biology, environmental studies, nursing, right? All of these require biology 110, but it can be recommended for a variety of other fields as well. So if you are thinking about going into chemistry or the health sciences, even elementary or secondary education, anything related to the health profession, right? This class is definitely recommended for that. I will say, biology is not, specifically this class, is not going to be recommended for somebody just trying to fulfill your Nat Sci requirement. If you've had a lot of biology in the past, this might not be a problem. But this is definitely one of the harder classes you can take to fulfill that Nat Sci requirement. Or if you have passed the high level AP score. All right. If you have any confusion on that, you want to talk to me about that after class, feel free to. I always want to give that caveat because this class is fast-paced. It can be hard. All right. So difficulty, like I said, it's going to vary. Right? If you've had a lot of science classes, this might be relatively easy. Maybe you took post-secondary science classes, you took AP biology, right? This is going to cover a lot of that same information, but in one semester compared to the two you might have had for AP biology. If you have not had as much experience in the sciences, it might be a little bit more difficult. All right. All experiences are valid. We will get you through it. All right. If you find yourself struggling throughout the semester, come visit me in office hours and we can talk through some strategies. Let's see. Course design. So you might be wondering, what am I doing in this class? So like I said, this class is fast-paced. All right. We are going to go quite quickly through a lot of different concepts. All right. I really try hard to scale back and just give you everything that's basically needed with a little extra, but it's a lot. Right? Like I said, if you took AP biology, it's like a year-long course crammed into a semester. A lot of class time will be spent in lectures, and I have those PowerPoints that I will post for you ahead of time on Moodle. They are a skeletal PowerPoint, meaning there might be some words missing here or there. Try to keep you engaged during lecture so you're not falling asleep. I don't want to talk too much, but unfortunately this class is content heavy, so I do have to talk a fair amount. I do try to split up the lectures with some in-class problem solving, so we might take a couple minutes, work with those around you, answer some questions, make sure you understand what we've gone through so far. I also record my lectures. Right, so it's not a substitution for attendance. So if you are not here and I'm giving out an assignment or points, all right, you are not eligible for those assignments or points because you did not attend, but it's really meant to go back and look at the lecture, re-listen to it. Maybe you missed something in your notes and you want to clarify it. All right, those will be available on Moodle probably early afternoon the same day the lecture is given. Now, out-of-time class work, right? I really want you to spend it reviewing your notes, reviewing your concepts, right? If you try to cram before the exam the night before and have done no studying prior, it's not going to go well, all right? So review those notes, review those concepts, complete assignments, and every now and then I might have you watch or read some material before you come to class. That way we can jump right into discussion rather than me talking a lot. So I teach this lecture and I teach the lecture after this. So I'm trying to condense the amount that I am spent lecturing because over 2 hours is a long time to be talking up in front of a class. All right. I want to put a note on here on how to take notes. I know some of you are returning, some of you are first years. How to effectively take notes in my class is to take notes on the lecture and what I'm saying rather than trying to copy down what is already on the PowerPoints, right? Those are given to you. You have those, might be missing a word or two, right? But you have all of that context. Rather, if I elaborate on a concept or a topic, that would be a great time to jot down some notes maybe on the PowerPoint itself. If you print out the PowerPoint, you can do it that way. I know a lot of students tend to prefer iPads. You can download your PowerPoint on your iPad, just make some notes, right? Any assigned readings or videos, take down some general notes, as well as class discussions, right? I recommend using a shorthand that works for you, like abbreviations, paraphrase. Like I said, this is fast-paced. I will try to talk as slowly as I can, but I tend to be a fast talker to begin with, and we have so much content to go through. So if at any point I am like going at the speed of light, raise your hand and say, hey, can we pause for a second, or can you repeat that? As far as grades go, right, not all of your grade is going to be calculated based on homework assignments. Rather, it's going to be a mixture, right? So a lot of your grade comes from the exam, 3 exams, and your final exam, right? That is a good chunk of points. All the other points here are meant to be easier assignments, meant to be grades that are easy to obtain, right? They're not going to be super difficult. We do some scientific literacy assignments, so how do we interpret maybe biases in the media? How does the media spin science information? How might you read a paper? Miscellaneous assignments will be assignments that I will likely assign in class, either due the day of or the next day. And then I have these content checks, right? There will be 10 of them throughout the semester. The due dates are on the schedule, which is posted on Moodle. I do drop your 2 lowest scores for those, all right? So they are 5 points each, 10 assignments. I drop the lowest 2. So if you accidentally miss one day, right, that's okay. I can drop that score, all right? Total, you'll get 300 points, and I do not grade on a curve. It's strictly the amount of points that you earn will get you whichever a grade you land in here, right? One thing I want to clarify, especially for those of you that might be sophomores or above, this year we changed our curriculum a little bit in that lecture is separate from the labs, right? So you're going to get a separate lecture grade and a separate lab grade, right? This is different than in the past. They used to be combined. So lab grades and lecture grades, they are separated for principles of biology and the next course after this, which is organismal biology. All other biology classes, these tend to be integrated, right? But these first 2 classes in the core curriculum are the exception. So keep that in mind. You have separate grades for lecture and lab. As far as the minimum grade policy goes, in order to pass this course, you have to have a C. Unless you are hoping to be in the nursing program, then C minus. Unless you're in the nursing program, then you need a C, all right, which is about 73%. You also have to pass 1 exam, all right? So I know I pad the grades a little bit with these easier assignments meant to give you some easy points, but you do have to pass at least 1 exam over 60% to pass this course. You'll see this in all the exams. I would expect you just to review over it. You might have already seen this, reviewed it in other classes, but for exams, I will ask you each time to just honor the honesty policy here, academic honesty policy, and I will have you sign your name to this pledge here saying that I pledge to have not given, received, or tolerated others' use of unauthorized aid in completing this work. All right? So I expect you to adhere to this policy. All right, that was a lot of information. Any questions about the course setup? All right. We're a quiet bunch today. We'll work on that. So our next thing that we're going to do, we're going to dive into the syllabus, and I don't want to just talk at you. I'm going to have you do this yourself. So I'm going to have you find your group, which is why I handed you out those index cards. So I have my random team generator here. Actually, I'm going to want to, this doesn't have all the numbers on it. Let me rerun this real quick. And we're going to do groups of 3. All right, so you have that card. Hold that card up, find your partner. We're going to do this one more time throughout the class period, so if you need to, go ahead and pack up your belongings and bring them with you. So yes, this is going to force you to get out of your seats and move around and find your people. Get acquainted with your classmates. Number 31 and 33 over here. See it 25 and 27 up front. There may end up being a couple groups of 2, and that's okay.
Yeah.
What's the number you're looking for? 35? No 36. So I do not have anybody for 34, 35, 36, 37.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. I think everybody has found their group. So we're going to do an exercise here. I want you to dig through the syllabus that is on Moodle. So you have to navigate to Moodle. And I want you to answer these questions. I'll give you about 5 minutes, more if we need them, less if we don't. And then we'll go over some of these answers. In the meantime, I'm going to come around and try to meet you all. Welcome. What are your names? Kelly.
Yeah.
See.
Matt, do you want to take the first 3? I'll take the
There we
second
go.
3, and then you can bring it up.
First year at campus. Which dorm are we in? I was in house here. Okay. Very similar to 55. Yep.
Distance or sprint?
Senior. Nice. What's the reason for taking this class? How are we doing on the questions? You done? All right, let's go over these questions. I think I see most of you are done here. And if you're not done, we will answer it when we go over together. All right, who would like to answer? When are my student hours? Yeah.
Monday 2 to 3, Tuesday 10:30 to 12, and Wednesday 2 o'clock.
Yes. And if you can't make any of those hours, you can either make an appointment. I have that appointment slot on Moodle, or email me if nothing works. I typically have more availability than that, but those hours are specifically set aside for my door is open, and I am just there waiting for students to come in and ask me questions. They're underutilized, so likely if you come, you might be the only one. Where is my office? Yes, Snowbell 2142. It's on the second floor, and it's kind of like the atrium. It's a little hidden. There's a wall with some wooden benches, and I am behind that. So you probably won't see me from the main hallway, but if you see those wooden benches, you're in the right area. All right, I know lecture and lab are separate, but you may have questions about lab. Who is the lab coordinator? It came up fast. It's Eric Elias. I gave you the answer here. So if you have any questions about lab, email him or your lab instructor, which may or may not be myself. The attendance policy for lecture and lab. What is my policy? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes. Exactly, yes. Lab is required. If you are not going to make your lab section, email your instructor and or Eric to coordinate making that up. Lecture is not required, but it's expected. Like I said, if I hand out points and you are not here, then you basically forfeited those points, right? If you know that you're going to miss a lecture, sporting event, something, music event, something along that lines, email me ahead of time. And if I know you're going to be missing and you communicated that with me, I will make sure that you do not miss those points because of that absence. All right, if you email me 5 p.m. on a Friday, when would you expect a response? By 10 a.m. Monday morning. I put this out here to say that if you email me over the weekend, don't expect a response. Likely, I will respond though, all right? But don't expect a response until I come back on Monday, right? This is my job. I'm a human. I have weekends too. But I'm very bad at checking my email over the weekend. I will respond, most likely. All right, during class time, will I unexpectedly call on you?
No, unless we just
Exactly. I'm not going to call you out. I know that can cause a lot of anxiety. But if you've discussed with partners and nobody is answering my question, I know you've discussed, I know you have some sort of an answer or maybe a question, and then I will unexpectedly call on somebody. What percentage of points do you need to earn a B minus? 80 to 82. Yeah. So like I said, it's all based on points. I do not grade on a curve. A B minus, that's still a really good grade in biology. I know some of you come in from high school and you're A scale, which is great. Biology is a hard class. A B score, that's an excellent score still. Date of the first exam. September 27th. Yes, so put those exams on your calendar. All the exams are up on Moodle. I am highly unlikely to change any of these exams because I have placed them either before a break or in a convenient time of the week. I don't like to give exams after a break, right? If you're going on fall break, I don't want you to have to study. So I am very unlikely to move these exam dates. Should you check your Gustavus email at least once a day? I see heads nodding yes. Yes, at least once, if not twice or 3 times or 4 times a day. That is how all the major communication happens on campus here. All right. So I did mention labs. I know we're separate, but I'm still going to talk about it because you might have questions that I can answer. Labs, they run 11 weeks, all right? There are different instructors for different sections. We're either going to be in one of 2 rooms. They're right next to each other. So look at your schedule before you head to that classroom. And I always just recommend come prepared, all right? Read the lab beforehand so you're not going in blind, so that you know, am I working with chemicals this week, right? Am I working with animals this week? Read it ahead of time so that you know, and then take any pre-lab quiz, right? There will be a few throughout the semester, and I think, we changed the curriculum, but I think they're due right before your lab time. All right, so it'll be different for everybody here. If you need any more information on those labs, all right, labs will start next week, but there's more information in your lab manual, which hopefully you all have from the bookmark. And then the Moodle page, if it's not already up, it will be up by the end of the week, and you can take a look at that as well. Eric Elias, lab coordinator, he will send out emails to remind you when there are quizzes, and if you need to bring like safety glasses to lab. Any questions on labs? All right. And then student hours. Like I said, they are underutilized. Come talk to me. All right, you can use student hours however you would like. Most often we're talking about a lecture or a lab that has happened and you might have questions about. But a whole variety of things, right? If you have a question about where to find something on campus, you want to just stop in and say hi or ask for some advice. I have snacks in my office, so you can just stop in and grab a snack if you are hungry and you haven't had time for lunch. So student hours, they're very casual. I'm encouraging you all to use them. All right, I'm going to make everybody get up and walk around again. So let me make sure. Oh, this one didn't save either. Let me add in our groups here. We don't have 34, so 31. All right, find your new group, meet some new people, and then we will do a few more syllabus activities here. Number 19 over here. Number 33 over here. Yeah. 29 in the middle corner. Did you find your group?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. I like it. I think everybody has found their group. Introduce yourself if you haven't already. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios to work through. And yes, we'll have to use the syllabus again. This first scenario is that you are on a Gustavus's Quidditch team. Yes, I am a millennial. I am obsessed with Harry Potter. When you are given the team schedule, you will notice that your first match is on the same time and date as your first biology exam. What should you do? I say you have a minute to look for the answer. I actually gave you 2. So you can peruse the syllabus, come up with an answer, and then we'll discuss. All right, I don't think I've met you yet. What is your name?
Probably
Caitlin. Perfect. And what? Sophomore. Read it, said you brought it. Yeah. Do you have an intended path? It's like major. Okay. Very nice. Yeah. See. Didn't move. Definitely relying on my Tuesday. Yeah, they are actually kind of by the steamery off to the right.
I was gonna summarize my
I don't know. I feel like I fell into the problem, but I feel like I also was surprised. I was surprised by like how much
All right, I went over that 2-minute timer a little bit here. All right, you're on the quiz team. You have a game the same day as your first exam. What should you do?
email you a week in advance, at least.
Yes. You should know your team schedule pretty far in advance. You should see the conflict. Email me at least a week in advance. That way we can schedule something else, right? I'm not gonna make you miss an exam because you're on a team, right? But I do need to have time to make some accommodations. Any questions about this one? It's kind of an easy one, right? Communication. Communication is key. All right. Our next scenario. All right, you've had your first exam, right? You flunked it. Everybody does it, right? I have flunked exams many times. When reviewing your incorrect answers, you notice an answer that you think should have been marked correctly. But even if this answer was correct, it would still not give you a passing grade on the exam. What should you do? What resources could you utilize next time to improve your score? Should you ask for extra credit? All right, I'll give you a couple minutes to ponder this one. All right, you took an exam. You did not get a score that you wanted, right? You had noticed that maybe I marked something incorrect when I was supposed to be correct. What should you do about that?
You wait 24 hours from when it was returned to you, and then you go grade it.
Yeah, so look at the question and make sure that, yeah, I am correct in this, right? Take some time to think it over. let me know. All right, even if that extra point or two wouldn't get you a passing grade, I want to give you those points that you rightly earned. All right, so I'm human, mistakes happen. I do my best, but if you notice something and you're like, that should be marked right, let me know. I will not be offended in any way. Let's see. So if we want to increase our exam score next time, what resources could you utilize to improve your next exam score? Tutoring. Tutors are awesome. Right? They happen Sunday through Thursday, every day of the week. Office hours. Yes, I am here. I can help you study or guide you in the right direction.
The study tips for success that you have in the Moodle page.
Yes, I do have an article. I believe it's from a Harvard webpage here about some good study tips. It's a good article if you want to give it a read. Maybe you need some ideas of how to study. Anything else? I think those are the big ones there. Yeah. Also, study with others. Find a group, a study group. I find it's really helpful to talk through the material because when you say it out loud, you're more likely to remember it. Let's see. Quickly, does anyone know what time this class ends? 11:35. We have plenty of time. I like it. Like I said, all the schedules changed, and I'm still trying to keep up with all these time changes. Should you ask for extra credit on the exam? No, I do not offer extra credit. It's all point-based, though I may give you an opportunity here or there to earn an additional point on your next exam. Any questions? Yeah.
What do your exams look like? Do you have like multiple choice, short answers, and a mix of everything?
Great question. In fact, I actually have something in Moodle that I have not made available to see yet, but let me do that right now. At the top, if I go, example of a typical exam layout, I will make that available for you to see. I do a mix, all right? So I'll do a mix of multiple choice, short answer, maybe short paragraphs, fill in the blank, maybe you have to label a diagram or interpret a graph, right? I like to do a mix. That way, if you are not a fill in the blank person, right, you are not going to fail an exam because the entire exam is fill in the blank. That will not happen, right? It's going to be a mix. You can take a look at this document. You might have to refresh your Moodle page here, but that will give you an example of the type of questions that I might ask on an exam. Any other questions? That was a good question. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. I have one more scenario for you all. If it loads, we'll give it a second here. There it goes. All right, my last scenario. It's 1 a.m. You're tired, right? You just realized that you had an assignment due at midnight, and you start to panic, right? You really need those points. Ideas race through your sleep-deprived mind. Do I stay up another hour to finish it? No one will suspect if I use AI to get it done faster, right? You take a deep breath. You suddenly remember that you have options. What are those possible options? Should you use AI? Go ahead and take a look at that syllabus. Great, I can do All right, you had an assignment that was due at midnight. What are your options to get these points? I do have that policy where I will accept a late assignment up until I start grading them. I often say things are due at midnight, so it's like due that day. I'm not going to grade your assignment at 12:01 in the morning, right? If anything, I'll start grading it the next morning. It might not be for another day. It's a risk you accept by turning it in late. But if I have not graded it and I see it was turned in late, I'm not going to deduct points. It's fine, right? What other options might you have? One more in the syllabus, yeah.
You can have a missing assignment form, and you can accept one missing assignment.
Yes. So even if I have already graded this assignment, if you find that you missed something fell through the cracks, I have a form on Moodle that you fill out and say, I want you to grade this assignment, right? And I will go back and regrade it. That's fine. I'll give you like one pass per se. So if you are looking back and you really need like an extra 5 points, you missed a 5-point assignment, it was due like 3 weeks ago, fill out the form, submit the assignment, I will go back and grade it, right? A little bit of grace there. All right, what about AI? Should you use AI? Or what is my AI policy? Yeah.
You can use AI if you cite it to show where you got your information from.
Yeah, so I don't want to discourage AI because when you leave college and go into your field, more than likely you are going to be using AI. But I want you to use it as a tool rather than as a substitute for your homework, right? So use AI to generate ideas, help you, let's see, it can help you manage your schedule. It can do so many great things. What I don't want to see is you putting in my question as prompt and then copying and pasting the answer back up, right? AI has a pretty formulaic way that it responds. It's fairly easy to catch. Let's see. Who here like did not, or like where AI was banned in your high school? Like absolutely forbidden. Good to know. We're in a weird time, right? AI didn't even exist a couple of years ago, so I'm curious to see how high schools have been using it. I think it should be used. It's a great tool. I use it to manage my schedule and syllabus and all sorts of fun things. But it's a tool. Use it responsibly. Use it to help your understanding rather than have it do the work for you. All right, any questions here? All right, that is my last scenario. I just want to preface by saying science can be hard, but if you put in the work, right, you will be able to get that result back. It just might take a little bit more work, more planning, more studying, right? Any additional resources? We mentioned a few of them. The tutors, academic support center, if you find that you might need some accommodations. English learning specialist, the writing center, disability services. I have a blurb of all of these on my syllabus at the very end. You can talk to me if you want to learn more. Like I said, tutoring is great, right? All of these tutors, they have been in this class, they have gone through this curriculum. It's held almost every day. So Sunday through Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. It's on the 3rd floor of Nobel. Though a couple of weeks it meets in the CIE, which is the dive underneath Alumni Hall. It's free, all right? Utilize it. No shame in going to tutoring, none at all, even if you just want somebody to be your second set of eyes to look over a paper or assignment. All right, I know I've asked this so many times. Any questions? All right, I do have a homework assignment. Hold on. There we go. I have a homework assignment for you. I'm going to pass that out now. It's just basically a questionnaire to help me get to know you. If you want me to know anything about yourself, fill that out. At the bottom here, I am going to ask you to visit the tutors and visit me in office hours. You don't have to have a reason. You can just say, I need this signed, and the tutors will sign it. Right? If you complete that, I will give you up to 1 point on your final exam. Right? Or not final exam, exam 1. Excuse me. All right, so if you were earning a 99%, you might earn 100% because of this close. Right? Start some more like this bit. That pile will be all the way. All right, this questionnaire is basically so I know how to say your name, what you prefer to be called. Like I said, if you want me to know anything about you, I am not going to type it up or use it in any other way, only for my personal use. Did everybody get a copy? I think that's a yes. I might have a few extras out there. I'll grab them after class. All right, last thing, and yeah, we're going to finish a little early here. The last thing is I am going to have you watch a video for Friday because we're diving into content Friday. We're starting fast and furious. This is a very short video on parts of an atom. All right, maybe you know this, maybe this is easy. Maybe you need a little bit of review. This should be a easy to watch video. Review it. We'll review in class on Friday before we get started. No like quiz or exam on it. All right, but we are going to talk about it in class on Friday. Otherwise, upcoming assignments is the one I just handed out. That is not due until next Friday, so you have plenty of time to complete it. I will always have a little reminder on my last slide of my PowerPoint about the upcoming assignments. The video, you'll have to go in the PowerPoint and click the link. Yep.
Is that in the Moodle?
Yes. Yep. On Moodle, there's a section that says lectures or PowerPoints. I forget how I worded it, but right under Unit 1. All right. That is my fridge when I was a freshman here in Sorry and studying for my chemistry exam. Any questions? That's all I have. Enjoy a few extra minutes today. Or you could finish that questionnaire, mostly.